whole different type of a show. It's the first show in the history of Broadway without furniture. There's no furniture in this show. It's a whole new type of an idea because we found out that furniture got nothing to do with the show. Every time you go to see a show, instead of watching people talking, there's chairs and tables coming and going, kitchen sets and living rooms. Who needs kitchen sets and living rooms? What has it got to do with a show? When you go to a furniture store, do they show you a comedian? That's my best joke, mister. This show got other qualities you don't see too often. It's got a lot of qualities. First of all, this is a one-man show, which disturbs a lot of people. You know, a lot of people say, who is one Jew to make such a comfortable living? But that's another thing. You don't need two people for one show. Why is it that subconsciously people somehow feel that the more people they see, the better the show? You ever notice that? Mister? People enjoy a show because there's more people in it. They see 10 people, pretty good show. 40 people, what a show I saw. 1,000 people, oh yes, this show. Did you enjoy it? I don't know, but was it busy? People need a crowd. What has a crowd got to do with a show? Huh? It's got nothing to do with it. All great things throughout history were accomplished by one person working alone. Michelangelo, the greatest painter, in my opinion, who ever lived, was Michelangelo. Why? Next. Because he painted the whole Sistine Chapel all by himself. Now, there were thousands of people with brushes. He could have said, mister, help out, the ceiling needs painting, take a look. But he never asked for help, did the whole ceiling all by himself. Took him 30 years because the man was a schmuck. Because the truth is, it doesn't have to take 30 years to paint the ceiling. I got a brother-in-law, 2 kitchens and a toilet, an hour and a half. Because he knew this is no job for a brush. A roller does the same thing. You see, this show is not for everybody. I don't know if you noticed that. I realized that as soon as you came in here, mister. It doesn't bother me. Some people like it, some don't, let's be honest. Like I have a girlfriend. My girlfriend to me is the most wonderful, most remarkable person in the world. That's to me. But to my wife, the guy keeps staring at me. I don't care if you laugh or not, mister. I got enough money to last me the rest of my life. Unless I want to buy something, then I'll be honest with you, the kind of spender I am, I'll never notice it if I make a living or not anyway. Who needs a lot of money? That's another sickness, to spend a lot of money. You show me a big spender, I'll show you a sick man every time. Big spenders are sick people trying to make impressions that serve no purpose. Like an average guy makes a date with a girl, right away he has to spend 100, 200, 500, 900. I make a date with a girl, it costs me nothing. Nothing. I come up to her house, she wants to go out, I let her go. What's my business? I have to follow her around. Well, let's be honest. Why does a guy take a girl out in the first place? He takes her out so he can be with her when she comes back. I'm there already. Where am I going? There's another fraud. The whole dating system in this country is a study in mockery and fraud and chicanery and deception. That's all it really is. The most honest man in the world, as soon as he makes a date, he becomes a liar and a fraud. Every man, I don't care who he is. Right away he starts out, hello, did you eat yet? Every date starts out with that question. Did you have dinner? What the hell has a dinner got to do with what you want from this girl? You took her out because of a dinner? Is that what you want from her? Answer the question before I throw you out. A date has nothing to do with a dinner. Let's be honest about it. A guy takes a girl out for only one reason, because she appeals to him sexually. Not nice to mention it, but it's sex. If it wasn't sex, he would take out his brother-in-law. But you can't mention sex because it's not nice. You're not supposed to want it. She's allowed to do it, but not if she wants it. She's not supposed to know what you want because she's not supposed to know that that's what she's going to do. So she's supposed to convince herself she don't intend to, she don't want to, she never heard of it. So you have to figure out how to get there without talking so she can do it without hearing. So it becomes a study of fraud by a man saying, hello, did you eat yet? Phony bastards. I'm the only honest person left, the only one. I stand outside of a restaurant, I wait to see who ate it. On the way out, I say, hello, you ate? Good, otherwise... You understand this? Not that I want to talk about these things because this show is not about sex, and I'm proud of that fact. I'm proud of the fact that it's the only clean show probably on Broadway or any place else. I don't think there's a clean show left anywhere outside of this show. Every show today is about one thing, sex, and sex, that's all you hear about in every show. We're living through a period of the vulgarization of American standards, American culture, American entertainment. Everything became sex. Every major novel today is about sex. It's all you hear about. Every major movie, sex and sex. Why don't they talk about something else? Why don't they talk about music? Don't you think music is more important than sex? I mean, for a man in your condition. I always thought that music was more important. That's the truth. I always did. Then I started to notice that if I don't hear a concert for a year and a half, it don't bother me. Is that too complicated for you? I shouldn't say a joke like that because there's a lot of hookers sitting right in front of me. They might resent it. There's a lot of hookers here. There are. Well, you thought you was the only one. That's not how you see it. That's not how you don't look like a hooker compared to this one. You see this? You can't tell who's a hooker or not. Get up. I want to show them an example. I always wonder about that. What makes a person become a hooker? Let's take your case as an example. I hope they're Jewish because if they're Italian, I'll get killed here. That happens to be the truth. If you call an Italian girl a hooker, your life is in danger. Somebody will kill you. They'll kill you in a second. If you call a Jewish girl a hooker, no kidding, I look like a hooker. How come I never heard that before? When did you notice it? Was I standing like this? Actually, if you stop to think of it, the Jewish girls are right. They are right because it is a compliment to say that somebody looks like a hooker. People never think of it, but it is a compliment. It's a great compliment because you're saying that this is a beautiful woman. That's what you're saying. You have to be a beautiful woman to make a living from that field. Let's be honest. A short, fat yenta with a mustache, what are you going to give her? What are you going to give her? 80 cents? To say that somebody looks like a wife is no compliment. Because a wife could look so krochen, so haggard, so bushy. And it still costs you $50,000 a year if you're Jewish. Even if you're Italian. All right, $12,000. Let's say you're a Puerto Rican, $1.25. But it still costs money. Next. I told you before, mister, I don't care if you laugh or not. They keep staring at me. And it don't bother me. You know why it don't bother me? Because thank God I know who I am. And I'm proud of it. Because there was a time I didn't know who I was. I don't know if you heard about it. I didn't know who I was. I went to a psychiatrist. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I did. He took a look at me right away. He said, this is not you. I said, this is not me. Then who is it? He said, I don't know either. I said, then what do I need you for? He said, to find out who you are. He said, together we're going to look for the real you. I said, if I don't know who I am, how I know who to look for? And even if I find me, how I know if it's me? Besides, if I want to look for me, what do I need him? I can look myself. Or I can take my friends. We know where I was. Besides, I said to myself, what if I find the real me and I find that he's even worse than me? What do I need him? I don't make enough for myself. I need a partner. 10 years ago, I'd be glad to look for anybody. Now I'm doing good. Why should I look for him? He needs help. Let him look for me. He said, the search for the real you will have to continue. That will be $100. I said to myself, this is not the real me. Why should I give him the $100? I'll look for the real me. Let him give him the $100. What if I find the real me? He don't think it's worth the $100. Then I'm stuck my money with the real him. I said to myself, for all I know, the real me might be going to a different psychiatrist altogether. Might even be a psychiatrist himself. I said, wouldn't it be funny if you're the real me and you owe me $100? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll charge you $50. We'll call it even. Now we come to the highlight of whatever is going on in this show. First of all, this is a map of the world. I explain it because I can see there's people who have no idea what's going on. And what is the main problem of the world today? The main problem of the world is hate. There's more hate all over the world today than ever before. Hate is the main problem. It's all over the world. A lot of people think it's just in this section. No. This is all over the world. The real question is what's causing all this hate? This is supposed to be the most civilized era in human history. We're all indoctrinated with the collective teachings of all the religions of the world that teach us what? Anybody? They teach us brotherhood, love, humanism. Let's take the issues of the world today. Let's start with Africa. What is the main problem in Africa? Libyan terrorism. It's happening primarily because of the issue of Palestine. It expresses the frustrations of the Arabs because they cannot fight Israel on equal terms. Because Israel turns out to have the toughest army, man for man, in the world today. The toughest army. That's a fact. I was in Israel. I saw that army. I couldn't believe it. I thought they were Puerto Ricans. They even talk Hebrew like Puerto Ricans. Señora, carara, carera, carara, carara. Why do you think Israel won the first war in 6 days where the Jewish general couldn't even see what he was doing? Spent the whole time with the patch looking, where the hell is the war? It's a lucky thing the Arabs came from this side. If they came from that side... I'll ask you a better question. Who do you think drove the Jewish tanks in that war? Puerto Rican soldiers. That's right. What do you think, a Jew is going to get out of a Mercedes to drive that tank? I'll tell you another story you probably didn't know. Do you know that Israel has the hydrogen bomb? The hydrogen bomb. They've had it for 20 years. For 20 years, never used it. You know why? It cost $187 billion. Now you think they're going to throw it away on an Arab? They told them, you want to see it? Come over. It's $1.25 an hour. I'll tell you another thing. Do you know that Israel could have had the Suez Canal in that war with Egypt? A lot of people don't know that either. The Suez Canal, they could have had it. They didn't want it. There's no boardwalk. What the hell are you doing? You know, everybody all over the world is amazed. They're literally amazed at the unbelievable might of the Israeli army. Because it's a direct contradiction to everything you know about the Jews as a people. Jews traditionally were never fighters. It's a historical fact that Jews were always pacifists. They always abhorred violence. Jews were the first persecuted for that very reason. They were always believed in non-violence. That's why there's no tough Jews any place in the world outside of Israel. You cannot find a tough Jew. Do you ever see a tough Jew in this country? I never saw 4 black people walking in the street and saying, watch out, there's a Jew over there. Well, let's be honest. Do you ever see anybody afraid to walk into a Jewish neighborhood because he might get killed by an accountant? The truth is that in this country, Jews don't fight. They don't. They almost fight. They almost fight. Every Jew I know almost killed somebody. They'll always tell you, if he said one more word, he would have been dead today. I was ready. I was waiting. One more word. What's that word? Nobody knows what it is. See, Italians are just the opposite. Ping, what do you say? I don't know. See, Italians are just the opposite of Jews. A Jew cannot fight in the street, but in an army, he'll kill you. Italians are just the opposite. In a street, they'll kill you in a second. But somehow, if you put them in an army, an Italian gets mad at me, I give him a uniform. I say, fight now! Did you hear what happened with the Jews attacked the Arabs? The Italian army surrendered. I'd like to see a war between the Arabs and the Italians. Nobody will get hurt. Not that I'm making fun. I don't make fun of Italian people. Are there any Italians here? No? Then let's tell the truth. I'm kidding you. I love the Italian people. I do love them. They know I love them. I'm crazy about them. Want me to tell you the truth? My best friend is a guy half Italian, half Jewish. He can't buy it wholesale. He steals it. Wait, I got another friend. He's half Polish and half Jewish. He's a janitor, but he owns the building. Wait, I got another friend. I got a friend half German and half Polish. Hates Jews, can't remember why. leave these jokes out. These jokes are ethnic jokes, and I can't stand them. I don't make fun of Polish people, and I hate anybody who does. But something obnoxious to me about Polish jokes. It always makes it sound like Polish people are dumb, or they're stupid, they're idiots. I say it's nobody's business. That's why I never make fun of Polish people. They're the most intelligent people in the world, aren't they? Takes a schmuck like you to believe that. Are there any Polish people here at all? No. See that? They couldn't find the building. They couldn't find the building. That's not nice to say. I'm sure there are Polish people there. They just don't understand the question. See, that's the kind of a joke I find obnoxious. I just wanted to see how low you are to laugh at a joke. To laugh at a joke like that. It's really disgusting to make fun of Polish people. By the way, did you hear about the Polish accountant who was an embezzler? Ran away with the accounts payable? See, I just show you an example, and that's why I would never tell a joke like that. Because I find it personally offensive and degrading to tell jokes like that. Because I never cared if a man is a Jew or a Gentile. That's why I'm such a hit. I never cared what a person is. I don't care if a man is a Puerto Rican. Well, there should be a limit. I'm kidding. I love the Puerto Rican people. I go to Puerto Rico every year just to visit my hubcaps. I never understood why people laugh at minorities. I'm always offended by those type of jokes. I am. We ought to thank God for all the people of this country, no matter what their denomination, what their religion. Why do we need a democracy for if we're going to laugh at people from denominations and religions? We ought to thank God for them. I thank God for the Puerto Rican people. They brought back something to this country that we almost lost. Cockroaches. I'm not picking on Puerto Ricans when I say that, let's be honest. All poor people once had cockroaches. I'm not picking on them. If you're Jewish or Italian, there were once cockroaches in your house too. But to be honest, the only people who never had cockroaches are white Protestant American Gentiles. They never had a cockroach. You know why? There's no food in the house. Well, let's be honest, how much can a cockroach drink? You cannot kill a cockroach in a Gentile home. It's always drunk. It's here, it's there. A Jewish cockroach you could kill in a second, weighs 300 pounds. Just ate a prune Danish. Boom, and then. That's why I never make fun of denominations or religions. And I can't stand jokes like that. But I thank God for this democracy. It's like Ronald Reagan said last night. And he said a brilliant thing. I don't think it's easy for Ronald Reagan to say a brilliant thing. Don't get nervous. I'm not going to make fun of the President of the United States. I can't stand anybody who makes fun of a person just because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think Ronald Reagan is probably one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. That's right. Just so happens this is not his field, and that's right. No matter what happens, he jumps on a horse, eats jelly beans, and runs and runs. He is so busy, they keep hollering, Mr. President! And they're late. It's a new type of a president. Every other president we ever had always looked troubled and miserable and nauseous. As soon as they were elected, they became miserable. Remember, Carter looked so coughing, so miserable. Johnson was nauseous and nervous. Nixon so coughing, so miserable. This guy, all the other presidents couldn't figure out what to do because it was murder. They were overwhelmed. They couldn't figure out the solution. This man don't know there's a problem. That's why he looks younger and younger every day. He keeps laughing and running. He is so happy. He's the happiest president we ever had. I found out why he's so happy. He can't believe he got the job. Why do you think he's the first president we ever had who looks younger and younger every day? Even when he's doing nothing, he looks so happy doing nothing. You think he did it already. You don't know what. He came back from Reykjavik from that meeting with Gorbachev. What happened? He said nothing. Everybody said, thank God. Then he jumped on a horse. Where you going? shouldn't say he does nothing about everything. About certain things he did a lot. Not about El Salvador, nothing. Nicaragua, nothing. But when he found out there's 2 black people and a Chinaman in Grenada, he wiped them out that. And I'm proud of him because since then Grenada has never attacked this country. For years I couldn't sleep nights. I kept wondering, did you hear from Grenada? But people love him because he's firm. He's firm. He might be on different sides of an issue every day, but he's always firm no matter which side he's on. I said to him, how do you feel about abortion? I'm against it. Unless the girl is pregnant, that's another story. But people still love him. They love a man who's tough and firm, but he's doing something or not. If it don't bother him, why should it bother you? And okay. That's why nobody voted for Mondale, because Mondale reminded everybody of Carter, always nauseous and miserable. He made the whole campaign about one issue, the deficit. Is this a deficit? I never saw such a deficit, a deficit. Kept hacking a deficit. Reagan gave him the perfect answer. He said, there's no deficit. Everybody said, but there is. He said, so there is. They said, what should we do about it? He said, don't mix me up. Then he worked out a whole plan how to solve the problem of the deficit. The plan was brilliant. There was a brilliant plan. He said, if you spend more and more money on defense and you're taking less and less in taxes, as it unbalances more and more, it balances out. Fight. He said, how does this work? He said, But he's been brilliant at this Iran scam situation. He explained it perfectly. Everybody was accusing him, but he had a whole explanation for everything he did in Iran. Did you hear his explanation? What a brilliant explanation. First of all, he never heard about it. So maybe he heard about it, but he doesn't know who told him. Somebody told him, but he wasn't listening. There was a guy talking, but he doesn't know about what. All he knows is that he remembers something. He doesn't remember what he remembers. But he remembers that he should have remembered something that he can't remember right now. But the only thing he remembers definitely is that he forgot. At first, when it all started, they said to me, you made a big mistake. He said, I never made a mistake. But you did. Well, maybe I made a little mistake, but it wasn't an important mistake because I didn't know I had the job at the time. I knew I was working. I forgot where. I knew I was a president. I forgot which country. I knew I was elected. I didn't know where. But I knew that whatever I knew, it's not my business, it's not my field, I don't know. Besides, when they told me I couldn't have heard it because they were talking on this side, I only heard on that side. You don't remember nothing at all? Don't you remember the Tower Commission made a report that he made a big mistake? So he went back on television at the time and he announced, this is the biggest mistake I ever made. About what? I don't know. Initially, when it first started, he claimed that he never sent arms to Iran. They said, but you did send arms. Well, maybe it was small arms. It was only for short people. It can't hurt anybody. They said, was there another country involved? There was not another country. Well, we have proof that there was another. Oh, you have proof? Okay, so there was a country. The funniest thing is that not only was Reagan never involved in this whole situation, but according to the hearings, nobody was involved. The CIA was never involved, the State Department never heard about it, the Defense Department never did it. This whole government did it without a government. There was no government at the time in this country when this happened. How can you accuse people who did not have a government? Turns out that one guy by the name of North, who never made more than $85 a week, was controlling the whole world all by himself. Compared to these people, I trust Hart. Hart sounds like an honest man. He had a great explanation for what happened. You remember Hart's explanation? It looked like a girl, but it wasn't really a girl. People thought it was a girl. Not all girls are really girls. They come out like girls. Forget about it. I had nothing to do with it. Why did you go through the back door? She thought it was the front door. What was she doing there? She was looking for a job. 5 o'clock in the morning, she was looking for employment. Then he said he couldn't have done anything because he was only there with her for 5 minutes. Then his wife said to him, 5 minutes is plenty. I'm sorry he's not going to be president. He would have been on top of everything. He makes Reagan look like an honest man. Do you believe a man went out with one of the most beautiful women in the world? He romanced her on boats, on planes, on ships, and tanks, all over the world, all by himself for 10 weeks for $40,000 just to do nothing. Do you believe he did nothing? Answer the question or I throw you out. If he did nothing, I certainly don't want him for president. I'd rather have a sex maniac than a total schmuck. See, the guy that should have been president is Ted Kennedy. Here's the guy that should have been president. But he'll never make it because nobody knows what he's talking about. The fump, the bullshit, you ever hear him talk about it? What do you ask him? I say, why do people say that I said, I never said that. I say, we can't have a country, I never said, and everybody said, he's right. The most brilliant man in the world is really Henry Kissinger. There's a brilliant man. Henry Kissinger. The pocket, the pocket. The pocket, the pocket, the pocket. Many people say the pocket, the pocket, the pocket, the pocket, the pocket. I would never say it. Many people have said to me, the pocket. But I always say, the pocket, the pocket, the pocket, the pocket. Otherwise, it's up to you. He's not such a great speaker. There's only one great speaker left in this country, Jesse Jackson. He's probably the greatest speaker of our time. That's right. People believe him, even if they don't know what he's talking about. Because everything rhymes. It sounds like it makes sense because it rhymes. I don't fly, I don't go, I don't die, I don't know. People play, we don't pay, kakabay, tuterbay. And everybody said, that's it. He's so exciting, that's why he can take prisoners out of countries who don't even want to go. He goes into any country and he hollers, I don't fly. He says, take whoever you want to. I'm not making fun. I don't make fun of great people. You don't hear me make fun of Menachem Begin. See, you know why? Because the truly great man of our time is Menachem Begin, the ex-prime minister of Israel. Most brilliant orator who probably ever lived, the greatest thinker, the greatest speaker. The words that Menachem Begin has uttered will live forever. Nobody will ever forget when Menachem Begin said those immortal words. All right. We'll take a look, we'll see what it is. You don't worry, all right, we'll find out. Richard Nixon is really the greatest man of our time. You know, a lot of people hated Nixon. I always loved Nixon. Compared to these people, I love them. I love a crook who knows his business. But Nixon, life was interesting. Every day there was something missing you didn't know why. You could see it, he took it. I used to get up every morning to see if my furniture was there. I think Nixon was the greatest genius of political history. The greatest genius. You know what he accomplished? Every week they caught him. And every week somebody else went to jail. And he kept saying, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. People say to me, you shouldn't even pick on him. He's got phlebitis. It's syphilis, not phlebitis. You can't screw 200 million people and wind up with phlebitis. See, I'm very careful what I say about people. I don't talk this way about Ronald Reagan because I know Ronald Reagan is an honorable man who didn't get caught yet. And you shouldn't blame him for the deficit either, because the deficit is not his fault. It's not his fault. He can't do nothing about it. This is no job for a Gentile. We need a Jewish president. We need somebody who knows how to show a profit to this country. This is the richest country in the history of the world, and every year we lose money. We have not one successful season yet. Somebody's fooling around with the books. That's not the real reason. The real reason is that the Congress and the Senate, they get paid whether we lose money or not. So they don't even care. Why should they care? I said, put them on commission. see, there was great symbolism and significance in what you just heard. The turbulence that you heard, this music surrounding the Jews as a people, represented the violence that always took place wherever the Jews went as a people. They were always persecuted by all the other denominations of the world, everywhere on this earth. Jews were persecuted, everywhere, even here. This is the greatest democracy that ever existed, and even here Jews were always persecuted. Why? Who caused it? Why did it happen? Who's responsible? This is the son of a bitch. Who knew he would be sitting right in front of me? But it's not nice to pick on him because he did not do it alone. This was his partner. It's not nice to say just Jews. It's self-serving to say only Jews. Everybody was once persecuted, even in this country. Women were always persecuted. Nobody ever defined it as persecution. But what was it? Why did women need a women's lib movement to fight for equality? Because they never truly had equality. How do we accept the idea that one citizen is better than another on the basis of anything? Huh? Son of a bitches. You understand this, mister? Don't you know that everybody was once persecuted here? Even the Irish were once persecuted. They were too drunk to notice it. I'll ask you a better question. Why is it that white Protestant American Gentiles are the only happy people in America? I don't know if you ever noticed that. Any psychologist will tell you they're the only people who are happy. They don't know where they are, where they're gone, what they're doing. They don't have a deal pending, a deal missing, a contract. Nothing bothers them. So everything is okay, better than nothing, as long as they're living, they're walking, they don't know why, where. Not important. But why is it that every Jew is walking like this? I have to become a partner in something, I don't know what. Why does every Jew have to become a partner? Because Jews can never get jobs. Historically speaking, they couldn't. It's only recently that Jews have achieved some degree of equality, but before they couldn't get jobs. The reason that Jews became businessmen was to overcome persecution. They were circumventing the system by becoming businessmen. That's why Jews are all businessmen to this day. Whether they have a business or not, it's not important. They're businessmen. Say hello to any Jew. Don't mix me up. I got a deal pending. Every Jew has a deal pending. He can be working in a toilet, but he's going public. Did you ever notice when a Jew can't make a living, it's never his fault? Never his fault. If a Gentile can't make a living, he blames himself. He says, how do you like that? I can't make a living. But a Jew is raised to think you should overcome the system by being successful. So he has to convince himself that it's never his fault. It's always son of a bitches, son of a bitches. Every Jew has a list of son of a bitches. Not for those bastards. You know what kind of money I would be waiting today, those son of a bitches. Every Jew knows a building he could have bought 30 years ago for $9. They'll all tell you, you know what that building is worth today? 147 million. They talked me out of it, those son of a bitches. They talked. You tell them, why don't you buy something now? No, now it's too late. This looks like a Jewish husband. He's afraid to laugh. That's another thing that's true about Jews. They're afraid to laugh. They have to get permission from their wife first. If a Gentile thinks how funny, he laughs. If a Jew thinks how funny, he looks at her. He's funny, he's funny. Isn't he funny? He's not. It's up to you. It's up to you. Oh, it's not. I thought it was. Whatever you say, whatever you say. Every Jew spends his whole life like that. You're right. Oh, you know, you're not. I thought you was. Whatever. All right, we'll sit down. We'll get up. All right, then we'll go. We won't. You ever understand why a Jewish husband is the most intimidated husband of all the people in the world? He is the most intimidated of all the people in the world. Gentiles are never as intimidated, never, by their wives as the Jews. What is this about a Jew that makes him so intimidated by a yenta without a job? Why is it when you watch an Italian in the audience, an Italian has a whole different cultural attitude towards his wife than a Jew does? It's a whole different history and a whole different attitude. An Italian sits like a tough guy, sits like this. I can always pick him out. His wife is sitting like this. Jewish couples are just the opposite. He's sitting like this. She's looking. Because he knows he owes her money. He can't remember why. Every Jew is in debt to a yenta without a job. She's not working and he owes her money. Every time she sees him, you owe me for this. I forgot. How do you owe a person money who's living in your house for nothing? I don't know. You understand this? Who the hell is she to give you orders? Years ago, a Jewish wife cooked for you, cleaned for you, worked for you. But today, let's be honest, today when a Jewish woman says, I do, that's the last thing she does. And he's still intimidated by this yet then. What is this? Why is he so intimidated by it? This is ironic, because a Jewish husband usually is a guy who suffered and struggled to get ahead. He's usually a partner in every company, and all day long everybody's saying to him, yes sir, yes sir. As soon as he opens the door to his own house, you schmuck. And he goes, and 10 seconds later he becomes a garbage collector. Here's the garbage, and the schmuck is taking garbage, in garbage, out garbage. She hasn't cooked a meal in 9 years. Where does this garbage come from? She collects garbage from all over the world for this schmuck to take it away. Now, if an Italian has garbage, you can understand it, because an Italian wife is still in the kitchen. Italian women are still in the kitchen. They're afraid to leave the kitchen. Go into any Italian home, I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Sauces are flying, sauces. The whole house got sauces in the kitchen, in the toilet. There's a sauce all over the building. In case he comes home, I got the sauce here. So she's afraid to leave the kitchen. Jewish wives are just the opposite. They cannot find the kitchen. They're building special homes now for Jewish wives. No kitchen. They see a kitchen, they get a heart attack. What am I doing in the kitchen? Before they make one meal, they make 12 deals. If I cook today, I don't cook tomorrow. If I cook tomorrow, I'm off Thursday. Friday, I'm in a Chinese restaurant. Every Jew that gets married knows he's going to spend the rest of his life going from one Chinese restaurant. They make a deal with a Chinaman before the wedding that this will be it. I hate Chinamen all my life. You notice that they never eat in a Jewish restaurant? No. For 5,000 years, every Jew is eating in a Chinese restaurant. You ever see one Chinaman in a Jewish restaurant? Those son of a bitch. I never met a Chinaman that said to me, I'm looking for a piece of gefilte fish. I'm not picking on people, it's not my nature. You know, a lot of people resent this material. They say, I generalize about Jews and Gentiles and differences. Everybody knows there is a difference between Jews and Gentiles. If there wasn't a difference, I would have no act at all. The truth of the matter is there's a very profound difference. You can tell yourself, if you want to study people, you can always tell the difference between a Jew and a Gentile. All you have to do is watch them leaving this building. You'll know yourself exactly who the Jews are and who the Gentiles are if you watch them, because every Gentile leaving this building is going to say the same thing. Have a drink? Have a drink? How about you? Drink, 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 drink. Who's that guy? I don't know. Give him a drink. Give him a drink. Who's on the floor? Pick him up. Give him a drink. Drink. Yeah, go on. Have a drink, Charlie. That's all they'll talk about. And every Jew will be saying the same thing too. Did you eat yet? It's a simple fact that Gentiles never finish drinking and Jews never finish eating. They never finish eating. What do you think Jews talk about for breakfast? Where to eat lunch. That's all they talk about. Lunch, where should we have dinner? Dinner, where should we have coffee? Well, we had coffee. But we didn't have cake yet. Let's go for a walk. We walked already, but we didn't have cake yet. 4 o'clock in the morning, let's have sex. We had sex, but we didn't have cake yet. They can't finish eating and they all say the same thing. I don't know why I gain weight. You know that Jewish people are the only people in the world who gain weight even when they go to a gym or a health club to lose weight. Watch Gentiles in a gym or a health club. You ever see how busy they are? Swimming, jumping, barbell, doorbell, dumbbells, the klap, my hack, they're so busy. They're crashing into walls, into furniture, schmetzing and clapping and hacking. But every Jew is on a bicycle. This is not good. The proof is, if you take a look at any Jew, his chest is collapsing, but his legs are blowing up from the bicycle. Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Why do you think you never see a Jew in a bar? You never see a Jew in a bar. I don't mean a real pickup joint where lowlifes run around picking up girls like this man. I'm talking about decent people in a real bar where there's real drinking going on. You'll never see a Jew there. Never. Unless you got lost looking for a piece of cake and a cup of coffee. Because a Jew is not comfortable in a bar. They're not comfortable there. Just like a Gentile is not too comfortable in a restaurant. When a Gentile walks into a restaurant, they're very nervous. They walk in and, how do you do? May I sit down? May I sit down? How long should I wait? 9 years? Why not? 9 years is okay. You ever see how a Jew walks into a restaurant? Like a partner. Hello! Let me see my table. No matter which table you show them, you call this a table for men like me? I don't sit so close to a wall, so far from a window. My wife don't like to face this way, I don't like to face that way, we don't like to face this way. Why is there so many people in this section? They could be moved over here. The Gentiles ate 4 meals already, the Jews are picking point at you. Let me see. It takes them 3 hours to pick out a table, then they start a whole new fight. Why is it so drafty here? You ever see Gentiles online at a restaurant? If you don't serve them for 12 years, they'll never complain, they'll never say a word. If you don't serve a Jew for a minute, what's taking so long? Those son of a bitch. I was here before them, I was here before them. They didn't come in before he came down. He sat down before he got up. He walked out before he came forward. I'll sue that bastard, that son of a... And meanwhile, the Gentiles are sleeping. You see, food is not a very important factor to a Gentile. It's not an amazing difference to them. They don't care. It's an emotional experience. It doesn't mean nothing to them. They eat it, they don't, they got it, they didn't. It's not important. They wait for the meal to come. They can fall asleep. If it showed up, they don't remember. It's not important. They can't get emotionally involved in food. You understand this? They eat, let's say, scrambled eggs with French fries. They order it, it comes or not, they don't remember. You ever see a Jew order scrambled eggs and French fries? It's an emotional experience. It's a major problem. Listen, I don't want the eggs over light. I don't want it too light. I won't want it too heavy. I don't want it low. I don't want it high. I don't want it very scrambled. I want it slightly scrambled. But I don't want it too soft. I want it a little hard. I don't want it too hard. And I don't want a lot of eggs. I want a little eggs. And I don't want it on the same plate. I want it on another plate. Then I want the French fries. I don't want them well done. I don't want them medium. And I want it on another plate. Then I want the coffee. I don't want the coffee high. I don't want it too hot. But I want it hot. I don't want it too hot. I want it pretty hot. Then I want the toast. I don't want it well. I don't want it medium. I like it in between well. And then I want butter. I don't want the butter on this side. I want it on that side. And I want it in another plate. Then I want the cream cheese. I don't want the cream cheese near the butter. I want it next to the butter. And I don't want a lot of cream cheese. I want a little cream cheese. And I don't want it hard. I want it soft. And I want it on another plate. Then I want another chair, and I want another table. I want another glass. I want 2 more chairs. I want 2 more napkins. I want another floor. I want another building. You know, a lot of people say I'm depicting Jews as pushy or demanding. This has nothing to do with being pushy or demanding. Gentiles are just as particular about the things they know about. What do you think, a Gentile just buys any gun? Guns are his field. He knows he wants a Magnum 2, Magnum 4, 27, 39. You show a gun to a Jew. Who a gun? Take a look. Guns are not for Jews, let's be honest with you. You ever see a Jew join a rifle association? Never. Unless there's coffee and cake. You show them coffee and cake, they'll join the Ku Klux Klan. Where's the cake? You ever see Gentiles go to Europe? They come back with pictures of statues, museums. Jews come back. I ate a piece of cake in Austria. I don't know what they do to the cake in Austria. There's no such cake anywhere in the world. Are you missing something? If you don't eat an Austrian cake, you got nothing. I don't know what it is. 10 minutes later, 10 Jews are packing. Where are you going to Austria? I heard about the cake. You know, a lot of people resent it, especially Jews do when I do this routine, because they say, I'm depicting Jews as eating 10 times as much as Gentiles. Why should I make such an issue? The simple fact is that Jews eat 10 times as much as Gentiles. It's no accident the Gentiles are all 7 feet tall, they weigh 2 pounds. Jews are all 4'9" and built like this. Because Jews never finish eating. There's a historical reason for this too. There's historical reasons for all these things. Jews were always persecuted in Europe. They never had any food anywhere. They were always the most starving people in the world, and they came here with nothing. That's why food became symbolic of security to a Jew. That's why your Jewish mother kept telling you, eat, never finish eating. If you're Jewish, you couldn't stop eating. To this day, if a Jew sees a sandwich, he can't believe it. Why do you think every portion of food comes out 10 times the size in a Jewish coffee shop than it does in a Gentile coffee shop? 10 times the size. Go into any Gentile coffee shop and order a piece of cake. You ever see the size of it? Go to Wyoming, Montana, Nebraska, order a piece of cake in a Gentile neighborhood. It comes out like this. To a Jew, it would be a cookie. You gave a piece of cake like this to a Jew, you would be in court for the rest of your life. You ever see the difference when you buy a piece of cake at a real Jewish coffee shop? Go into the Carnegie, a place like that, and order a piece of cake. It comes out like this. Gentiles never saw that. They don't know what the hell. They think it's a birthday party. But the Jew that got the cake is always mad. What happened to the portions? There used to be big portions here. He's screaming and the Gentiles are singing, happy birthday. You know what's going to happen when this show is over? The Gentiles are going to say, he was funny. You know what the Jews are going to say? Too Jewish. Too Jewish, too Jewish. Jews all have a persecution complex. They like to tell you how proud they are to be Jewish, just like blacks tell you how proud they are to be black. A Jew is proud to be Jewish. Unless you sound like a Jew, then he gets nauseous. Yuck. Why does he have to sound so Jewish? Yuck, yuck. They all say that. Why is it that no Gentile ever said to me, I'm too Jewish? Maybe he can't stand me, but there must be a different reason. The fact that I'm too Jewish doesn't bother me. But every single day after every show, there's at least one lady that comes over to me and says, you don't have to talk like that. Can't you talk like me? Talk like a regular person. There's a persecution complex in every Jew. They're all ashamed of Jewishness. Why is that? How come I never heard a Jew say, I can't stand somebody who's too Italian? You ever hear a Jew say that? I can't stand him, he's too French, too Spanish. No Jew would ever think that. It's a disgusting thing that no Jew would ever think. Jews are the first ones to fight for the civil crusades and rights of every minority in the world. And they love every minority, and the first ones to fight. Unless he sounds like a Jew, then they get so nauseous. They get so nauseous. In Miami Beach, everybody is Jewish. What's their names? Goldberg or Ginsburg. But every condominium is called de la Tre, de la Mer, de la Tre. Every building is de la Tre, de la Mer, de la Drek, de la Shre, de la Dre. They can't pronounce it. They don't know where they live. They're all walking around. Did you see de la Tre, de la Mer, de la Dre, de la Dre? 4 o'clock in the morning, the condominiums are empty and the Jews are wandering. Where's the lot? The Jews are embarrassed by anything Jewish. If they buy a fancy dress, a Jewish woman always makes sure it's a French designer or an Italian designer. If Saint Laurent, Saint Laurent, Saint Laurent. You ever hear a Jewish woman say, I'm wearing my Horowitz today? I never heard that. Why are you ashamed of being Jewish, mister? You're getting on my nerves, I'm telling you right now. By the way, I hope you'll all be careful while driving from here after the show. This is no subject for comedy. Please be careful while driving, especially if you're Jewish. I don't tell the Gentiles how to drive. They know how to drive. That's right. They can drive cars, fix cars. It means nothing to them. It means absolutely nothing to a Gentile to drive a car. But in every Jewish car, you hear the same thing. Where are we? What happened? They put an ocean in here? When did they put it in here? Oh, when you watch a Gentile stop at a gas station, ask for instructions. No matter how complicated it is, they remember it. You tell them make a left turn, a right turn, or you turn to more Benz on a turn, and he goes. You tell the same thing to a Jewish couple, watch what happens. As soon as the guy walks away, a fight breaks out between them. And you'll always hear the same fight. You thought I was listening? I thought you were listening. Why would I be listening? He was talking to you. Where were you when he was talking to me? Then they start calling each other honey as they're abusing each other. Why don't you shut up, honey? You tell me to shut up, sweetheart, you son of a bitch, darling. I don't need this. I'm going for the divorce. Good, I'll drive you. How are we going to get there? Go back to the same gas station? thank you. But before I go, I want to pay tribute to Ed Sullivan. That was the music of the original Ed Sullivan show. And it's true, he gave me a few problems later, but he gave me my first break in life on television. While all the Jewish producers said I was too Jewish for the Gentiles, a Gentile saw me by the name of Ed Sullivan, and he loved me. He watched me perform at my first audition, and he got so excited. He was shocked, so shocked that the rest of his life he walked around like this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Right about here, for the very first time on any stage, right about here. Here is a really fine actor. He just returned, ladies and gentlemen, from... He just returned, ladies and gentlemen. He just returned from Saudi Arabia. And he brought back a little something from the Arabians that he would like... that he would like to pass on to you. He already passed it up to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for being here. I hope you don't mind my making fun that way of Ed Sullivan. The truth of the matter is that he did give me my first and only break there when it really counted at that time on television. I did have a problem with him when he called me a dirty person, because I'm not a dirty person. It's not the nature of my character or my behavior. So to prove I'm not a dirty person, I had to sue him at that time for $3 million. It wasn't a personal vendetta. I had to protect my reputation, so I sued him at that time for $3 million. Originally, I was suing for 12. I took a $9 million loss. But I want to take, if I may, just a minute of your time to tell you how grateful I am for each and every one of you for being here. Because it's a touching experience to me and a stunning experience, something I frankly never expected at this stage of my life to suddenly become this big a hit. I wasn't that much of a hit before I opened on Broadway. I don't know if you heard about it. As a matter of fact, the truth is that my career stunk before I opened here. I was producing plays and pictures that were going nowhere, and my career was getting worse and worse. I don't want to tell you how bad it was getting. It was getting worse and worse. How bad it was getting, I shouldn't even talk about. Maybe you got your own troubles, I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that I decided as a move that out of more of desperation than anything else to do a one-man show in Beverly Hills, and I was shocked when it became a hit. Nobody expected it to become a hit, and 6 months later it was still a big hit. So everybody said maybe we should try it in New York on Broadway. Frankly, I was very nervous and frightened. To me, it's a frightening thought to open on Broadway. Everybody is nervous to open on Broadway. For me, it was more nervous than most people, because frankly, I didn't think that I would be accepted on Broadway because of the boish circuit attitude that people have about my voice, about my diction, about Brooklyn. There's an elitist attitude in Broadway that finds it difficult to accept such a Jewish accent. So I said to myself, what have I got to lose? I'll take a chance. I'm not doing nothing anyway. And when I opened on Broadway, I was shocked, because the New York Times critic not only liked me, but he loved me. He made it a phenomenal review out of this show. He called it the best, the greatest, the finest thing he ever saw. It cost a few dollars, but it was worth it. I'm kidding you, it didn't cost a few dollars. This cost a lot of money. The truth of the matter, I was shocked by that review, just like I've been shocked by my whole career. When you come, like I do, from a family of rabbis, you know, I have 3 brothers who are rabbis, as I said on television a couple of days ago. And my father was a rabbi all of his life, and all of his life he always dreamed that all his children would be rabbis. That's all he lived for. So naturally, when it was time for me to become a rabbi, I didn't have the heart to tell my father that I'm not going to, because that's all he lived for, and I didn't want to hurt him. It probably would have destroyed him if he suddenly found that one son was not a rabbi. So to force myself to become a rabbi wasn't easy, because I didn't have the kind of conviction that a rabbi should have. So I started to perform as a rabbi, and I was very uncomfortable at it, so I started to tell some jokes in my sermons here and there. And as the jokes got better and better, I started to charge a cover and a minimum. And the amazing thing is that as the Gentiles in the area heard about me, more and more Gentiles came to see me. So many Gentiles came that before you know it, there was no room for the Jews. The Jews couldn't get in the building. They couldn't get in there. I became the only rabbi of a Gentile congregation in the world. But that's all in the past. What's happening now is a kind of an unbelievable story to anybody in the world, because I know as well as anybody that the Mecca of show business is right here in this neighborhood. Within 6 blocks of this building is the finest, the best that the legitimate theater has to offer anywhere in this universe. It's all right here, the best and the finest. So for you to pick me out as a show to see is frankly not only a surprise, but something that I'm very, very deeply grateful about, because who the hell could have expected it? I want to thank each one of you, because each one of you has made it possible for me to become some new kind of a star, and without you here it never would have happened, because in an empty building you can't tell a person is a hit. I would really like to thank each one of you personally and individually. Unfortunately, I'm now such a big star, I got no time to talk to you. But I hope it doesn't sound corny to you, and I hope you don't take it with any cynicism. I hope you take it the way I mean it. From the bottom of my heart, I mean it as sincerely as I ever meant anything in my life. I thank you, each and every one of you, very much for making this whole new life possible for me. God bless you.